Hey, episode 3.
Episode 3.
You know what they say?
Indeed.
Once is an accident, twice is a coincidence, 3 times is a pattern. It's a pattern, baby. Have you never heard that?
No.
Oops.
That's the first thing I've ever heard this.
Oh.
But you know what? That's okay.
Dear Lord.
We're fine.
Episode 3.
I'm back on the cryptid energy.
I know. Back to your roots.
Yeah, I like the cryptids. This one is not as whimsical as the frogman though.
Darn.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay. I'm ready to get scared. I want to get my feathers ruffled. Because I got a really spooky one for you today that I got really scared.
Yeah, she said she had to stop research at points because she was getting scared.
Yeah, I mean to be fair, I was sitting alone in a very big lab building.
Oh, you were in the lab?
I was in the lab and it was really dark and it was quiet, so I had one light on and then I'm doing all this research.
That is spooky.
Especially because I had just finished when I was done taking care of the anemones, I was listening to these interviews for research and they were super, super scary. And then all of a sudden, the only one other person in this whole building, walked by the door, scared the absolute shit out of me. I nearly pissed myself. It scared me to absolute death. And this poor lady was just walking by, doing her thing.
That is kind of funny, though.
And I was giving myself the heebie-jeebies.
The hibbly-jibblies.
And then I called my mom.
Oh, you called your mom?
I did.
I was like, you're getting scared?
Because I was getting scared.
I mean, I guess I can't really blame you, but that is kind of funny.
Yeah.
All right, well, are we going to stick to the formula and me going first?
Yeah.
All right.
Spin me a tale.
Have I got a treat for you?
I'm so excited.
On this episode for Cryptids.
I'm so sorry. Can I interject really quickly?
Yeah, what's up?
I don't know if I should bring this to your attention, but whenever you get the stage, you take this weird cadence to your voice. I think it's...
How so?
You're just today we're going to be talking about this. And we're like, ooh. And then the way you read your notes, you have this same repetitive cadence with every sentence.
Is that good or bad?
It doesn't sound, it's like you get nervous.
Oh, I get nervous?
I don't know. It's like you turn into your presenter voice.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing though.
I guess that's true. Just pretend you're on NPR.
Yeah, okay. Today we've got...
Keep going.
Ruined my flow.
I'm sorry. Now to make you incredibly self-conscious of the way that you talk.
Yeah, now I'm am I reading this okay?
It's hot as hell in here.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Go. Let me try to take my jacket off.
The scripted today is the Thunderbird.
Oh my gosh, wait, I love them.
I know, they're pretty cool, actually. This one's sightings are also very interesting, or at least the big one.
Yeah, the big bird.
The big bird.
That's great. I love the Thunderbird.
It's pretty cool.
It's a great one.
It is. We're gonna go into a little bit of a backstory, depending on, obviously it's going to switch from who's telling the story, because people like to lie and make stuff up. Or they just saw stuff that was not the Thunderbird.
Or they're just tripping balls.
Generally, though, it's reported as kind of like a gigantic bird. Generally, the reports have a wingspan of 7 to 9 feet.
That's not super big.
No, I mean an albatross.
I think albatross.
5 feet?
No, albatross are 12.
Are they?
Yeah, albatross are really big.
That's 7 to 9 feet each wing.
Oh, each wing? I thought you meant together. I was like, that's not that big. No. Okay, so that makes it 14, 16 feet.
Yeah, it's just a really big bird. Generally, people, at least from what I've seen, is they're kind of it's like a really big eagle. But there was an alleged sighting that is unconfirmed, actually an alleged killing of one, that this bird was stretched to the length of 5 grown men with their arms outstretched. It was hung up on a barn. I'll show you the picture in a little bit. But it's an unconfirmed sighting because... Oh man, I'll get into that one. That was a tale.
Is it one of those things where there's a picture, but it's maybe...
It's the Mandela
maybe
effect.
Yeah, well, or maybe they've done this before with fairies or big fish. Well, they'll use perspective to make something look a lot bigger. But it's an original photo and it's an undoctored photo, but it's clearly
there's a couple
using an illusion.
Iterations of it. It's pretty interesting actually, but we'll get into that one, okay? We're in the backstory still.
Oh, okay.
You gotta chill out.
Have you ever seen Rescuers Down Under?
I cannot say that I have, no.
Damn, I was gonna make a really good reference.
Make a really cool reference?
I was.
Well, reference denied.
Damn! Although other 4 people that have seen that movie.
The Thunderbird is prominent in at least 6 different Native American tribes, and they all generally have different stories.
Okay.
They're usually depicted as kind of like controllers of storms. Mm-hmm. So they have like their wing flaps are described as bringing the thunder, and their flashing eyes produce the lightning, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
They live like in one of the iterations of the story. They live like in a sky realm, and they're at eternal war with like the underworld.
So are they like cool. Are they kind of like gods, or are they like spirits?
They're just spirits.
Okay.
They're just benevolent spirits. And in the stories, they're typically benevolent towards humans. With one tribe, which is called the Ho-Chunk tribe, which I probably am pronouncing that wrong, but they say that a man who has visions of the Thunderbird during a solitary fast will become a war chief of the people. So that's kind of cool.
That is cool. And do you happen to know where the
Ho-Chunk are?
Yeah. Like, where are they regionally?
Not say, but I can look it up right now.
Because I imagine it's, I would assume, near some mountains.
Probably the Midwest.
Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about the distribution.
Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Wisconsin. In other stories, though, they're, like I was going back for, they're the enemies of the great horned serpents, which is basically giant reptilian water monsters that, in the stories, get annihilated by the Thunderbirds generally, leaving stuff like lizards and snakes. Not lizards and snakes. Yeah, they're like
they
water.
they killed them.
They
chopped them up and they turned into lizards and snakes?
No, the lizards and snakes were like lesser ones, and they're the ones that ended up
surviving. They're like the
threat.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, they like dwell in, from what I was reading, they like, or at least in one iteration, they would dwell in like water, and that's considered like the underworld. And also they have like a weird mixture. The like underworld like big spirit is like a mixture between like a panther and like a seal kind of. It's really interesting, and honestly might be an episode in the future.
A future subject. I love that.
But sightings vary in. Going back to real life stuff, real sightings, vary from like a giant eagle. Sometimes it's sort of like a pterosaur type of thing, it's like a pterodactyl. Sometimes it's a mix between, and it's been described as having a crocodile-like head, which on a bird sounds kind of frightening.
So just like a really long beak with teeth?
I guess it's kind of like a I imagine almost like a vulture kind of. So like it doesn't have any feathers on its head, and it has like more scaly stuff.
Weird.
What was very interesting, some scholars speculate that the creation of the stories came from native tribes finding fossils of pterosaurs.
Oh!
But it's also noted that generally the creature is described as more avian than reptilian in most iterations.
Yeah, but I feel like if you're finding a fossil
and you don't you got
something that... Well, because, I mean, if you look at a pterosaur, it's got like a beak-ish thing, so they're like, okay, this is clearly a bird of some kind.
The feathers just fell off when they was turned into bones.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's a pretty logical explanation.
I think it's fair. But now we get to go into the amazing sightings.
Oh, okay. I thought you were to tell me more about MetaZoo.
It is actually in MetaZoo. I have
of course it is.
In one of my decks. It's actually not a bad card either.
Nice.
But we're not going to go into that. The most famous sighting was in 1977 in Lawndale, Illinois.
That's a lot more recent than I thought.
It is pretty recent.
I thought you were about to tell me it was in like 1658.
Nope, 1977. It's in Lawndale, Illinois.
It's a good year.
Neither of us were around.
I was.
No, you were not.
Yeah, I was.
No, you were not.
Just add to the lore.
No, the lore is not you being born in 1970.
The lore is that I am an ever-living being.
I don't really think so.
A time traveler, one could say.
So were you there to watch this then?
I wasn't there, but I was around that year.
Okay.
I was a little preoccupied.
Were you in Illinois?
No, I was in Chicago.
This bit is stupid. It's really dumb.
I'm trying to think of literally anything that was going on in Chicago in the 70s.
I bet you can't.
I can't.
That's what I thought. For someone who's apparently like terrified researching your thing, you seem pretty whimsical.
I know. I'm really trying to lean into the whimsy of this one because I'm really scared.
Dude, I haven't even read the sighting, the actual what happened, dude. This is scary.
Are you about to tell me that people died?
I mean, apparently a young boy was allegedly carried over 30 feet before his mother fought these 2 birds off. This is 2.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, he's okay. But, however, there were several witnesses that saw this attack take place, and the creatures were described as having like a white ring around their neck. It was about a 4.5 foot tall body, with each wing being about 4 feet long. It had a 6-inch hooked beak, 3 front claws, 1 black. Wow, I cannot type. 1 back claw. I put black craw. That is not correct.
It sounds like just like
a big vulture.
A stereotypical vulture
like
in like a cartoon. Yeah, it's got the white ring around its neck.
It's got a black body as well.
Also, like, have you ever seen those videos of big eagles going after toddlers? It's not uncommon.
I don't seek that out. I don't know why you do.
I don't seek it out, but you scroll through Instagram Reels long enough, and you eventually see something.
Maybe you should get off Instagram.
I'm very on it very irregularly, only to post on our Instagram page. You should follow our Instagram page. Shameless plug right here, right now. TBITBZ.
You should go there. It's pretty cool.
It's got good pictures. All photos will be on the Instagram.
Yay!
Okay, I'm so sorry to derail you.
No, you're fine. All that was really said about this. I mean, here's an illustration of it, and it looks like. I can't transfer with one hand. It looks like a stereotypical vulture.
It looks like the vultures from
like the Looney Tunes.
Yeah, or I was gonna say the Jungle Book.
Yeah, that makes sense. But that was actually in well, I'm holding my mic weird. That was in a newspaper. That's actually a newspaper.
Oh, that's a newspaper illustration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To be one of those people that could just draw things to put into the newspaper.
That'd be cool.
That would be a cool job.
Yeah. Other than that, sightings kind of just vary. I mean, seeing a bird, really big bird off in the distance is not uncommon, especially when you're traveling long distances. Another prominent sighting was from 1890, where 2 cowboys in Arizona claimed to have shot and killed a large bird. It was described as having no feathers, which makes no sense how it flew, and also had a head similar to that of an alligator. Apparently, they dragged the dead bird back to town after killing it. And so basically...
that's the most reputable source I've ever heard.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, we did it. That's the one...
Like, don't ask any follow-up questions.
That is where the image itself comes from. Let me find this image.
Is there a picture of this?
Apparently there was a photo they took. It's now lost. This is lost.
So we don't... It's on the internet, but we don't have the real one?
So that is like an artist recreation.
Oh. And then I thought you said it didn't have any feathers.
That's just an artist recreation. I'll go find the other image I found because I really liked that one. Because it looked really eerie. I didn't say this though, of course.
Come on, episode 3.
I know.
It just looks like... It looks like a...
It looks like they have a pterodactyl.
It's a vampire bat. Yeah. It's a massive bat.
Yeah, the original photo is lost, so all the other photos are just like recreations of it.
So how do we know the original photo even existed?
Because people said it did.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't try to get that to a college.
I was gonna say...
That's what you should really do. If you end up shooting a thunderbird for some reason...
Yeah, call your... First
off, you're a bad person.
First of all, don't shoot things.
Don't shoot random animals.
But also, contact your local university.
Yeah, go to a university immediately.
Immediately.
That'd be sweet.
Contact the biology department.
Yeah.
They'll get somebody in touch with you.
Yep.
I don't care if it's 100 miles away. If the closest university, you better take that specimen there.
Drive it over there. Put it in the back of your Ford F-150.
Your Toyota Tacoma.
Yeah.
And just haul it to the nearest reputable source.
Yeah. Other speculation in terms of what it might be. Most people think it's a creature called the Argentavis, which is it was a creature that actually did exist. It's basically just a massive eagle. Mm-hmm. It's a huge eagle, really cool.
Was it around in the Ice Age?
I think it was period after the dinosaurs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because, you had the rise of the birds and...
Here's an... Well, that's a really bad picture. That's kind of an outline of what...
Oh, okay.
Basically, there's, like... I think of, like, a golden eagle, but, like, big enough that it could, like, eat people.
Yeah.
And, like, horses. They carry off prehistoric horses and eat
That's
them.
sick.
It is really sick. They're very cool.
That's what I was going to talk about with the Rescuers Down Under. It's a golden eagle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You should watch that movie. It's a really good movie.
Maybe I will.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I feel like it's a matter of perspective. Because a lot of people don't really know how, like, massive birds of prey actually kind of are.
Yeah.
Seeing them from a distance, you're like, wow, that's kind of a big bird.
I mean, even at any local zoo that I've been to where they'll have, like, a sanctuary for birds that are recovering, huge. Even, like, the vultures, you get up close to them and they're massive birds. They're really lumbering big. Birds.
They're really, really big.
Is there a theory that it's possibly, like, a condor from, like, the Andes that somehow got... lost.
People, I mean, yeah, I don't see why
or
not. Or
swept in a storm and, I don't know.
Maybe. I don't think they're carrying kids off, though.
You're probably right.
And there were 2 of them in that story.
Oh, that's true. And how many people witnessed that?
It didn't give me an exact number. It said several, so I'm assuming more than 3.
I was literally going to say more than 3, less than 10.
Yeah, it's probably like 4 or 5 people. It was on a farm, so.
Oh, okay. And how big was this child?
It was like not very big. Like
a toddler.
Yeah, like a toddler, probably.
I'm sorry to keep asking all of these questions of you.
No, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine.
Really got to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I know.
You know, this is going to really come in handy for your future, like, dissertation. Or you have to defend a thesis, and you're like, I have a question.
My thesis is going to be about the Loveland frogman, I think.
Yeah?
Because he's been my favorite.
You might want to switch your major to anthropology, then.
Yeah, true. He would make more sense. No, what do you mean? That's cryptozoology right there.
I don't think they offer that.
I wish. That'd be cool.
I don't think there's a college of cryptozoology.
I take some classes.
Watch, you still need to take chemistry as a background.
Don't remind me. Yeah, other than that, going back to, like, Native American stuff. They're prominently featured on stuff actually here in the Northwest Coast. They're featured on some totem poles. Like, I'll give you the example here.
Oh, lovely. So sorry, I'm just going to keep asking questions. How do they know that it's meant to represent a thunderbird and not just an eagle?
Doesn't say.
Oh, darn.
I'm assuming it's either because...
of the style of the carving?
Either that or oral tradition.
Oh, okay.
Stuff like that.
That would make sense.
It does say, I mean, it says that thunderbirds are frequently depicted in art, songs, and oral histories from the Pacific Northwest cultures.
Oh, cool.
And then some other stuff around, like, the Great Lakes, Great Plains.
Mm-hmm.
A really big iconography it has for some reason, especially in Algonquin, is having the thunderbird take kind of an X shape. So you got, like, the legs the wings outstretched towards the top, and then the legs down at the bottom, and then the side, the head is kind of like either going. It's generally like a profile, so it's like looking off to the side. I probably should turn the mic with my head when I say that, but it's kind of looking off to the side.
Yeah, like if you're doing a jumping jack and turn your head to the side.
Yeah, sort of, and it's very interesting only because people speculate that that's because it's just like stylization. It's sometimes like in pictograms. They'll be shown as like very recognizable bird, and sometimes they'll just be represented by literally just an X, and that's all they're used to be represented.
It's the Cliff Notes version.
Kinda, I guess. What going into something that's kind of funny. On the Wikipedia page about this, it has like in modern usage. I would like you to try to guess what the first little cliff note here on the modern usage is.
Modern usage?
Modern usage.
Probably a local beer.
You are completely wrong.
Damn.
Thunderbird is the name of an operator in the popular competitive shooter Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. I just thought that was funny that they placed that over multiple military usages
Yeah, I was gonna say
multiple sports teams usages. A Legend of Zelda boss, Zapdos, in Pokemon. And honestly, the thing that I was the most interested on was, oh gosh, I need to find it. Oh no.
So they're like, you guys are not gonna believe this. It's in a video game, and that beats out. Aren't thunderbirds a type of warplane?
I believe so, yeah.
Or am I losing my mind? I should probably quit fiddling with my necklace right next to the mic.
it's giving good little tingles.
Oh no, it's
getting
so
have
crackly.
An email client called Mozilla Thunderbird, like Firefox and stuff, you know?
What?
Apparently.
How are the reviews on that?
I don't know, I didn't check. That sounds really awful.
Damn.
And what I think my favorite thing was the Thunderbird is the cap and badge symbol of the Canadian Forces Military Police since 1968.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty cool.
So not the Mounties?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay.
But another thing that I found to be kind of interesting, so I think it was World War II, we used a lot of Native Americans to write like code for so like Germans and stuff couldn't crack our code.
Yeah.
Thunderbird was used to refer to.
Is that Navajo?
Yeah, we used a lot of Navajo to my knowledge.
Navajo soldiers, I believe.
Let's see.
Or people who spoke the native language and they used it to.
Yeah, but because it's literally unbreakable to anyone who is not from.
Who doesn't know what it is.
Which is pretty sweet, actually. That's
sick as hell.
That's a cool fact. That's my cool fact. If you didn't know that,
fun fact.
You're welcome. They used it to describe a cruiser aircraft. The Douglas World cruiser aircraft.
So they would refer to
as a couple's or a specific type of plane as the Thunderbird in their native language, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
It is really sweet, actually. What I found to be really interesting, though, especially on all the things I've gone on, or at least on the general websites I saw, they don't really have how you would actually say the word Thunderbird in these native languages. It's literally just, it's the Thunderbird. So I don't have any native translations to butcher, which is both good, but I also thought it'd be really interesting if I could share it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes they'll be
more authentic.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll be on pieces of art, so it'll be a shoulder pouch. You'll have two of them on there. Sometimes there'll be a painting. Sometimes you'll have them carved into sandstone on a bluff. What my favorite thing is here, we got the 3 tribal signatures using Thunderbirds from 3 different tribes. My favorite is probably the one all the way to the right.
Yeah.
He's holding a little
He's holding a quill.
Or a club or something.
A tree?
Something like that.
I like that.
But yeah, they're also referred to as rainbirds because they bring storms. Well, that's a similar entity. Yeah, it's pretty cool actually. I like Thunderbirds. They're kind of interesting.
So other than a couple of them maybe being shot and killed, and then
allegedly being one that's the size of a barn, which you saw that image. Do you realize how many bullets it must have taken to bring down something that big, even though it was an artist stylization?
I feel like you'd need an elephant gun for that.
Something. Not 2 cowboys, I can tell you that.
Not 2 cowboys. I forgot that it was 2 cowboys.
It apparently was 2 dudes.
Just 2 guys.
Yeah, honestly, that's what I strive for. To just.
Well, we know how you feel. We know how you feel about cowboys.
Cowboys are sick.
They are sick.
I love Western movies. John Wayne.
You're that's the most reputable source right there.
Yeah, exactly.
2 cowboys.
If Clint Eastwood is somehow listening to this podcast and you would like to come on, send us an email.
Send us an email.
I'll collab with you. That'd be cool.
Burt Reynolds. I don't think he's alive anymore.
Probably not. Most people who are in older westerns are not, unfortunately, which is very tragic.
Damn.
But that brings us into questions. And
okay.
Because I like doing questions at the end of all my other segments.
I don't, because I already talk enough.
Yeah, but I like talking more. And yours, honestly, I was expecting your section, since you do like very thorough research and you seem very passionate about this one, I'm expecting this one to be
kind of long.
But that's okay. That's why I've been kind of delaying. And I didn't actually write down any questions. I thought I'd just kind of like think them up. So what do you think the thunderbird like sightings really are?
The sightings?
We'll say sightings, yeah.
Probably some sort of illusion. Yeah, drink your water.
I'm sorry, an illusion?
Yeah, kind of like a mirage, but in the sky.
So you're saying they're just fake?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we've already established that large birds did once exist.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've had this argument before about things like the megalodon and how that is definitely not around anymore.
No, what do you mean? It's just really deep.
No,
it has a new niche.
It's not.
It does.
It's literally not.
That'd be funny if you got proven wrong, though. It'd also be scary.
If I get proven wrong, I will eat my foot.
I'm gonna go become a megalodon researcher now.
Yeah.
Hobby. Yep.
Yeah, that's your sign that you need to finish biology.
Biology. Ugh.
Come on, become a bio major like the rest of us.
No. Now, personally, I feel like people are seeing birds, but they're either seeing them like from really far away. So when you see something
the perspective is just off.
Well,
also that's what I'm thinking. If they're looking at them through like these canyons or whatever, or like in the perspective against large trees or mountaintops,
or if you've just never seen a large bird up close, because like we said before, large birds of prey are huge.
Yeah,
they're very, very, very big.
But I feel like for Native American lore and that sort of thing, it's just more of a way to explain the world around you that you don't necessarily understand in the scientific sense like we do now. Yeah. Which kind of goes to say a lot about a lot of that's traditional stories.
That's what most like cultures and stories are used for.
Exactly. Just like explaining parts of the natural world. You're like, oh, where do the thunderstorms come from? It's like, oh, it makes sense that a big bird is blowing them in.
Waging war against the underwater panther.
I forgot about the underwater panther.
Yeah, that's just something that like it was just like mentioned it in one of the things I read, and
that's because this is in the middle of the country. I'm assuming this is in the Great Lakes.
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay.
Other than that, it could be the ocean.
Follow-up story, the water panthers.
What was hilarious about it, though, I was doing some research like 2-3 days ago about this, and I was just like reading through, and I like read past it, and it was like, I just kind of accepted it. It was like, oh yeah, they fought the water panther. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And
you're like, yeah,
water
panthers, water panthers.
For a second, I was like, what?
Hold on.
What do you mean
Pause.
there's a underwater panther? And I went back and I like read something about it. I was like, huh.
That's how I was a couple days ago, and I was like, well, tell me the history of elevators.
Yeah. Oh. We're not going back to the elevator bit, all right? I can't take it. But yeah, I just thought it was very interesting. I guess we'll move on to our last question.
Okay.
Do you think the Thunderbird and the Loveland Frogman would be friends?
No, because...
You think Thunderbird tried to eat him?
Yeah.
That's fair.
I mean...
He's a above average sized, like, toad.
Yeah, and...
He's, like, probably the size of a toddler.
Oh my god, Noah and I went nature walking today out at the nature reserve. Oh my god, we saw so many freaking bullfrogs. I've never seen a bullfrog in Oregon. Big. They're huge, and they were so loud. We were walking down this trail, and we thought somebody was, like, revving an engine.
Yeah, no, they are
We get up to the pond, and it's these massive freaking frogs.
Especially when there's a lot of them. There's, like,
Could you just imagine just, like, I feel like a thunderbird, if it's hungry, it's going to want to go after a really big frog.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's fair.
Birds eat frogs.
People already eat frogs.
It's true.
So why wouldn't a thunderbird?
I feel like it'd be like his little delicacy, do you think?
That's barbaric. I won't take such frogman slander.
I'm sorry, I forgot that he's your favorite.
He's awesome. He's not my favorite. My favorite isn't yet to come.
Oh, okay.
Although there's like nothing about my favorite, so it might be another double feature.
Double feature?
A double feature.
That's what happens when... See, we just need to go hunting for them. That
would
just anything that doesn't have a lot of sightings, we need to be the ones to go look for it.
Sightings?
Because then we're the reputable source.
Yeah, true. And that'd be like in 2024 in Oregon,
Daphne and Tucker.
We
were playing Pokemon Go.
The Oregon Frogman at this random nature reserve. Trust, guys.
Do we have photos? No.
No, we got this really, really bad video. You have to brighten up the eye. Also, I got a Charizard out there. That was very much more interesting than the Frogman.
Oh my gosh.
That's all I have.
That's all you got?
Pass the torch. I'm ready to be spooked.
Okay. Do you want to stop the recording because I need to go to the bathroom?
I guess.
We just piece the two pieces together.
Yeah, we probably can. All right. Now we're recording.
Now we're recording? Okay, we're back. Okay, hopefully Shay cuts that out. Babe, are you listening? Cut this out. Okay.
I was definitely going to leave it in.
I'm back.
All
oh
right.
my god, you're so right. Just to be spiteful, that little bastard.
I'm ready to be spooked.
Okay.
Please.
Oh my gosh.
Weave us a tale.
I'm so...
Might have to hold your hand while you're talking about this.
No, it's okay. Okay. Okay.
You haven't even started yet.
I know. I have photos to show you, and I don't like looking at them. They make me uncomfortable.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna close my laptop.
I'm actually gonna need you to keep that open because I have.
Never mind. Hello.
We'll get to it eventually. But
no, is it interactive?
Yeah, it is interactive.
Oh.
I'm gonna have you go looking for these creepy photos that I have hidden in the drive.
Oh. Okay, I'll look for the drive.
No. Hold on. So in my folder, there's the one that's for photos. Don't open it yet, but it's in there. So I made you a photo drive, and I made me a photo drive, and it's in my folder, but don't look at it yet.
Alright, I won't.
Okay, just have it ready. This is important.
Alright, I've got it ready.
Okay. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. Okay.
Tell me about the plays!
Okay, so I am going to tell you, I'm going to weave you a tale.
Weave me a tale.
Of a doll.
This is already a bad sign. I'm not a huge fan.
Have you ever heard of the doll Letta Me Out?
No.
Okay.
Wait, say that name again?
Letta Me Out.
I don't like that.
Yeah, me neither, bud. Buckle up. We're getting into it.
Oh,
also, if you are listening right now and you're driving in the dark or maybe out on a camping trip, maybe turn this off because spooky. It's
fine.
Fireside scary spooky time now. Okay.
I like fireside sounds.
Okay, this doll is also known as Letta for short. Okay. So I'm going to take you back to the great year of 1973.
Oh yeah, how was that year?
Good. My mom was born. It was a good year.
Nice.
Yeah, which
were
means
you also around then? Like you were in
yeah, we transcend realities, and yes.
That's very interesting.
My mother was born that year. It's a good year.
Yeah.
Okay, 1973.
1973?
There's this guy, his name is Kerry Walton.
Okay.
And he and his brother are visiting their hometown that they grew up in, which is called Wagga Wagga.
That's a fun name.
Yes, it is in Australia. And it is, hold on, I have it pulled up.
Under.
We are going down under. It is south of Brisbane, north of Melbourne, kind of west of Sydney. Okay. So it's in like if you think of Australia, it's in like the bottom corner.
Okay.
And it's this really tiny town that they grew up in, and they had both since moved away, but they were coming back to visit. And while they were visiting, they decided to check out this abandoned house.
Oh no.
Okay, so the two brothers, so this is a house that was alleged to have been haunted. Like all the neighborhood kids growing up were like, oh, that's the abandoned house. Apparently it's over 100 years old.
I feel like every town has one.
Every town has one. Every town has a dilapidated, scary house that everybody says, classic. So him and his brother decide to go check it out. They're going to face their fears. They're coming back to visit their family.
Can I interject really
Yes.
quick? Does it give an age for how old these guys are at this time?
Yes. So I don't have any information on his brother, but Carrie at the time of this all starting is 23.
Okay.
So he's my age. Okay. And I will have you know, I'll be damned if I go poke around a weird abandoned house. I've done it before. I don't need to do it again.
I'd do it.
Listen, last time I did, I got the pants scared off of me by a bighorn owl.
I know, but that'll be different next time.
Well, maybe this time I'll come out with a haunted doll.
I'd rather...
If I get a haunted doll, Tucker, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna wrap it up in a little box with a little ribbon. It's gonna be for you. I'm gonna find you a haunted doll on eBay. I'm gonna give it to you.
Do not bring ghosts into our home.
You wouldn't accept my gift?
No! Not if it's that.
Okay.
Anyway, we're going in the haunted house.
We're 3 bullets in. We're doing great.
We're going in the haunted house.
They're in the haunted house. And I saw one article that said that Carrie owned like an antique store, and so they were hoping to maybe like poke around, find some old cool things that maybe they could take back.
Yeah. We love theft.
I mean, it was the 70s.
Things were different back then.
Things were different back then.
The laws were more lenient.
Okay, so it gets to the point, so he's got his flashlight out, and after this, there's very little mention of the brother. The brother's kind of an afterthought, but this man has decided he's gonna like, okay, I'm gonna go crawl around under the house. I'm gonna crawl around under the floorboards. And it's dark as hell down there. Yeah, and he's got his little flashlight, and he's in a crawl space of this abandoned old ass house that's been abandoned since he was a kid. Yeah. And he's crawling around down there. And he shines his flashlight, and in the corner of this house, I am dead serious. I need you to stick with me here. He sees a doll. Right. Well, actually, I take that back. He sees a human-ish figure because it is large. It is the size of a child, and he thinks he has found the corpse of a dead child. Oh. So he freaks out. He like jumps up. He hits his head. He like drops the flashlight, picks it back up.
I mean, rightfully so.
He has more balls than me because I would have scrambled away and immediately called the police.
I mean,
I
feel like that's a smart thing.
He further investigates, and he gets closer, and he rolls it over. Ooh. And the face looks up at him, and he realizes that it is a very old doll, and he is freaking the fuck out because I would be too. Yeah. I would have left. I never would have been in this situation in the first place, but if I was in his shoes, I would have left 10 steps ago.
Yeah, I would have left almost as soon as I saw a figure in the corner. I would have been like,
I would have poked my head into the spider-infested crawl space and gone, no thank you.
Actually, I probably could be peer pressured into looking at the figure. I take that back. Okay.
Well, at this time, I would like you to open the file, and I want you to see what this thing looks like.
Boy. Oh, that's bad. No. What? Why does it have like long hair?
So that is very...
That's a creepy doll.
It's horrible. It's got a hooked nose. It's got a big grinning smile. It's got a sharp chin. It has glass eyes.
Oh. It's got really big eyebrows.
It's got really big eyebrows.
It looks like it has human hair.
You'd be correct.
Oh, no.
You'd be correct on that front.
It has human hair.
It's made with human hair. We are 4 bullets in.
Oh, how many bullets total?
There's so many.
Oh, alright, well. Creepy doll.
Buckle up, buddy. Okay. So he picks up this doll.
Right.
And he pulls it out. He crawls out of the crawl space. It's the only thing that these brothers can find. And keep in mind, this house is 100 years old. It's been abandoned for God knows how long.
Yeah,
and there's a doll in the crawl space. So nobody knows how it got there. Yep. Nobody knows how long it's been there. Yep. Especially because I like to think that if the rest of the house is falling apart, how is this doll in arguably such good condition?
It is in pretty good condition for being an old
in
doll.
A crawl space.
In a crawl space especially, yeah.
Like exposed to any runoff, any garbage, anything really. It's in remarkably decent condition for what it is. Condition. Yeah, he's like got his clothes and everything all set up. Okay, so they take the doll and they put it inside of a sack. Yeah. And they're like, okay, well, we're done with our visit. We're gonna drive home. So they live in Brisbane. So they have got to go all the way back up.
So
to Brisbane.
Do you think... So are they down just, like, visiting the town? Like, their parents still live there?
I would assume so. From the sound of it, it was just they were visiting, and they were like, oh, that's that old house that we used to tell ghost stories about when we were kids. Let's go check it out.
Do you think they, like, went out at, like, 10 o'clock and were like, all right, Mom, we're going to go explore. They're out in town, and they, like, come back.
Well, like it is
with a creepy doll. They're like, Mom, look what we found. And she's like... Why do you have that?
It's like, Mom, you're not going to believe it.
Mom, look, we found this creepy doll. And she's like, get out.
Thanks.
Go back to
But here's the thing. So it's such a long drive that half of the drive that they're going back, it's dark out. And they have this, like, 2.5 foot tall doll in a sack.
Is it still in the sack?
It's in the sack.
Did they buckle it in?
I don't know. I think they just laid it down there. I like to think that they would have buckled him in for safety.
Honestly, if they didn't buckle it in, maybe that's why it's gonna like get creepy.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the ghost of road driving safety, maybe.
But so what?
She didn't laugh at all. That scared me a little bit.
Sometimes I stop listening to you. So
yeah, a lot of people do.
You've cracked so many good jokes that I only hear when I've come back and of listening to the audio.
And you're gonna be like, wow, he's so funny. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh. That makes me feel better, Tucker.
It does, actually.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. I was already derailed.
It's okay. We're gonna be fine. So, he kept like looking behind him at this bag in the back seat, and he swears that every time like a car would pass and like the other headlights, because there's a dark road, that the doll in the bag would move, or it would look like the bag was moving,
it was
like shuffling around or like pushing on the edge. I'm not sure which account is true. I read some articles that said that they swore they heard like a little voice go, "Let me out."
Oh man.
And that's where the name came from. They're like, oh, it's like Letta Me Out. Letta. We'll just call her Letta. Another story, which is what I'm willing to believe, is that the brothers like looked at each other. It's like, oh, it's like it's trying to get out of the bag. It's like, let me out. And so then they were like, oh my gosh, that's a great name. We're gonna stick with it.
This doll's so whimsical. I can't wait to go back and I don't know, look at spiders. I've never been to Australia.
Kangaroos? Wallabies?
Wallabies?
Did we just have the wallabies? Koalas? Sharks. Sharks in the water.
This feels mean.
Listen, as a marine biologist, it's probably only a matter of time before I am sent to the Great Barrier Reef and have to do stuff down there for some time.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's not a complaint. I mean, you're going to go see this doll.
Oh, God. We'll get to it.
Oh.
We'll get to it.
Anyway, dolls
okay.
move around the back of the car.
So I listened to an interview with Carrie, and he was saying that the night that he got home with the doll, he took the doll out of the bag and he left it in the front room.
Right.
And then halfway through the night, he felt compelled to come downstairs. He put it back in the bag and put it under his porch.
Ooh.
He didn't like it being in his house, which is weird because it's like, well, you brought it here.
It's also returning it under the porch.
I know.
Where it was found.
Where it was meant to be, I guess. Some people, friends that would come over to his house would say that the doll's eyes seem to change color. Which is horrifying because they're incredibly dark eyes, and if I see any sort of glimmer in that, I'm punching it immediately.
They're very angry eyes.
Yeah, I don't think the eyebrows do him very much justice.
The doll looks malicious.
Yeah, it does not look fun.
No.
Apparently, it would walk around and move on its own, and it would also move objects. He had a couple children, and the children would come screaming to him in the middle of the night saying that they were watching the doll walk around at night. And I don't know if you can see in any of the pictures, but he's got little metal shoes that are tacked to the bottom of his feet. So there would be scuff marks on the shoes and also on the floor.
Oh. I'm gonna be real with you, whatever that was outside, no idea if the mic picked up, made me jump a little bit.
I was a little scared. I think it's
He's coming for us!
I think it's a drunk college student.
The doll! It's
No.
Leto!
No, it's not. Just stop. I have to sleep tonight, okay? And you do too.
Really my problem.
Well, I'm
Listen, I'm not trapped in there with Letta. Letta's trapped in there with me.
ugh.
I'm gonna show that doll what's good. We're gonna suplex that doll. Show him the WWE moves.
I mean, it is toddler size.
Exactly. That means it's easy to take in a fight.
It's got human hair.
You should have taken a better vessel. That's more to grab.
No, the wig pops off.
Oh, never mind.
I know. I thought you could like grab him by the hair and fling him around. You cannot.
Just grab by his little feet.
I don't want to.
I mean, I wouldn't have self-defense situation.
One of the more common movements that people will see, even like up close, like people will sometimes have Letta sitting in their laps, and the wrists you can see on the photo. It's got like hinged. It has like hinged ball joint wrists, and they're very human-like. They're human carved hands out of wood, but they're incredibly lifelike.
They look very lifelike, yes.
The most common, one of the most common movements is that the wrists or the hands will rotate and move, which could be gravity.
Yeah. I mean, the doll itself
but it feels like it'll like shift and settle in your lap.
Interesting.
Another thing to note is that they had a family dog named Randall, and it was a corgi. This is way back in the day.
Corgis are awesome.
They are awesome. Great little dogs.
Pick a fight with this haunted doll. Though.
Yeah. So apparently, like on site, the dog began like attacking the doll.
I mean, I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. I would also be terrified, and I think it's more of a fear response.
You are terrified.
And it would be. It was barking and like trying to bite it and tear at it and all that thing. And this wasn't just the thing with Randall, though. It was any dog that came in contact with this doll would all of a sudden become incredibly aggressive. Even around, like, these are people that have dogs that are around, I'm assuming, other...
wild animals and stuff?
Yeah, like, in theory, it's a humanoid doll, but I feel like you wouldn't necessarily... and these are dogs that have, like, never attacked before, and they're, like, extremely aggressive towards this doll. So they held on to it for a really long time, even though the children a lot of the time were very afraid of it. Yeah. And throughout this whole thing, I have heard no mention of a wife. None at all. And I like to think that this man was a single father and he was like, I'm going to bring this doll back home to my kids. The kids are like, we don't like it. And he's like, well, that sucks.
I got scared for this.
Yeah.
Because
I was like, if I was the mother, I'd be like, get that thing out of my freaking house.
One thing
not in my home
about like haunted doll stuff is like, get rid of it. Why do you have it still?
Because he felt compelled to keep it.
I don't care. Your feelings are wrong.
I know.
Kids and your dog are terrified.
If I was his wife, I'd tell him to fucking throw it. Like, I'd drop kick that thing.
Get rid of the doll, or you're on the couch. That's what I would say.
And you're on the couch, and the doll is in the
you
drink.
You can spend the night with it if you like it so much.
Yeah, you can spend the night with it outsable.
Yeah, in the doghouse.
In the doghouse, literally.
The dog can be in my bed, my little corgi. You got little steps coming up so you can get on my bed with little legs. I'm sorry, I took that thing.
No, you're good.
I like corgis.
I mean, doesn't everybody?
True, they're really good dogs.
So the family held on to it for many, many years. But it eventually came to a time in the family where they were in some financial trouble and they really needed money. And there was a local shopkeeper that offered Carrie $400 for Letta.
I'd sell it for less.
And they got it all set up over the phone. He's like, okay, yeah, I'll pay you 400 Australian dollars for this. Yeah. They're like, great. So he loads up Letta, puts him in the back seat, buckles him in, and drives him off to his new homeowner. But when they got there, the story goes, and I've watched this interview where he's telling this story. Carrie says that he was physically unable to remove Letta from the car. And I don't know if that means that he tried and it wouldn't move, like he couldn't physically lift it, or what I interpreted as he had this overwhelming sense of a mental barrier where he could not bring himself to remove the doll from the car. And the deal fell through. He said he couldn't do it. He couldn't get rid of it.
Imagine if the shopkeeper just like walked out and picked up and was like, what are you doing, dude?
Imagine the shopkeeper's like, I'll give you $500. He's like, no. $600. No, I can't.
He's like $650. He's like, dang it. All right. He just like grabs it. Here you go. The art of the deal.
Oh, man.
If
I was his wife, I'd also then be pissed.
If he came back with
he's
gonna sell it.
He's like, I couldn't. If he's like, I couldn't do it. It's like,
I had a sense, babe.
Babe, you don't, honey, babe, you don't understand. I just couldn't let him go.
Like, you're gonna be letting me go, brother. It's either me or the doll.
Honestly, for real, terrifying. So they ended up keeping it for another long while. And after having this doll in their family for many, many years, the family started to wonder about its origins.
Okay.
So they took it to a local museum to find out more about it.
Uh-huh.
And what they were able to do, so there are little like tack nails in the soles of the feet.
Of the feet.
And they were able to date those, look at those nails. Well, not date the metal, but they were able to look at the style of nail and they were handmade. Yeah. So, based off of the nails and the soles of the feet, Letta is over 200 years old.
Wow.
And it is clearly handmade, hand-carved.
Yeah.
And Letta is said to have Eastern Europe, its origins in Eastern Europe, possibly Romanian.
Interesting.
And then we've mentioned he's got human hair and then glass eyes, and he's got painted features and a handmade jacket and pants. It's all handmade, and it's really, really old. But remember how I mentioned that the house that it was in was only about 100 years old?
And that means it was 100 years, and then somebody chucked it in the basement. Or it moved to the basement. Perhaps.
It crawled into the basement itself.
What's really interesting to me is like the doll itself looks pretty worn down. The clothes are like immaculate.
Yeah, maybe it is a new suit. From what I could tell, though, it all seems to be I saw no mention of the clothing ever being repaired or changed.
Yeah, it just looks very new.
Yeah. I like to think they just cleaned him up a little bit.
Ghost power.
Yeah. He was like, no dust.
That's what he was like moving around. He was like ironing it out and like washing it.
He's pressing his pants.
Yeah, that's what the kids are like, Mom, Dad, the doll is doing laundry again. They're like, your imagination's so funny. Go back to bed, kid.
I'm going to tell you one thing. If I ever have a kid come to me and are like, my dolls are moving in the middle of the night, I'm like, good night. We're leaving. We're going to... Cool.
We're going to hotel.
Cool. We're going to Grandma's. We're not...
Yeah, sorry.
Absolutely not. No, thank you.
I mean, I don't really blame you.
I mean, many nights I would wake up and find dark figures in my childhood bedroom, and I'd tell my mom about it, and they go, oh, it's just a nightmare.
Mama. I just ignore them. I'd be like, what's up? Roll back over, go back to sleep.
If my kids did that, good night.
You'd be like, dang, honey, that's cool.
Wow, that's great. Let's get in the car.
We're going to go on a little drive.
Everything's going to be fine. Leave all of your toys.
Yeah, none of them are safe.
None of them are safe. We have to cleanse all of them.
Come back, your house is just on fire.
Just lit it on fire.
Like, well, time to start over again.
I'm like, Shay's like, we just finished the down payments.
Please. We can just get rid of the dolls. She's like, no! Not for $400, we're not. That's not enough.
Oh my god. Absolutely not. Good night.
Anyway, back to the origin.
I'm so sorry. No, we got sidetracked again.
It's part of the fun.
So at this time, now that they've gotten a little bit more insight into the origins of Letta's creation,
right,
and backstory, they also contacted various psychics, mediums, and clairvoyants, as you do.
Yeah.
And I've said it before, I'll say it 1,000 times. I don't know if I believe in all that, but it adds spookiness to the story, so we're gonna go with it. There allegedly was a medium that reached out to Letta and felt that Letta was carved by a man to resemble his young son who had drowned. So there was some sort of connection with a child spirit and drowning and sadness. But my problem with that is that I look at this doll and that does not look like a child.
Looks like a 50-year-old man.
It looks like a gargoyle.
Like a witch.
Yeah.
Like a stereotypical witch.
Stereotypical.
Its nose is huge.
Nose is like hooked and long. It's got a really pointy chin. I tried to include that picture of the side profile just to show how dramatic.
Yeah, I don't really like the side profile.
Features.
Brow ridge though.
Yeah, it's got really arched brows. There was this one medium that became pretty good friends with the family, and she was said to have like this extra special connection to Letta. Her name is Keisha.
Okay.
And I was watching an interview with her where she was talking about her experience with Letta.
Right.
And she said that she was also able to sense the spirit of a small boy. And the thing that was the thing to note is that they took Letta to multiple people that are said to be connected with this kind of stuff.
Right.
And without telling them about the previous experience, a lot of them had very similar feelings of a small boy who drowned.
Yeah.
And some sort of parental figure having carved it or having it have been commissioned by a parental figure. It's like meant to resemble somebody who is very important to somebody else.
Yeah.
Which I found that kind of interesting that it was corroborated by multiple people.
Yeah.
Or at least according to the 5 articles that I read. According to the story, they all said the same thing. And I'm like, okay, well, that's great. So this lady, Keisha, she's quite a character. She took Letta to, like, they called it a shopping center. A mall.
A mall?
Yeah, and they had
like Hot Topic.
Good time to get your ears pierced at Claire's.
Like, yo, it's just what I've been needing.
Take it to Build-A-Bear.
Yeah,
get him
a friend.
Oh my gosh, you can give him some little overalls.
Yeah. Oh, that'd make it creepier, honestly.
Honestly, if Letta had overalls, I didn't think anything could be worse.
Look like Bob the Builder.
Oh no.
Get a little hammer.
Oh no, it'd probably murder you with the hammer.
It's just Chucky at that point. It would just look like Chucky if you gave it overalls.
It's an off-brand Chucky.
Charles.
Chad.
Oh. Anyway, what did Letta do with the mall?
I'm sorry. Okay, so Keisha took Letta to the mall, and it was like in a box, like behind a curtain.
Right.
And she gathers this crowd of people. I like to think that this is in like the food court.
It's like a circus.
It literally is. And she's like telling them the story of this doll.
Right.
And she hasn't revealed it. Like nobody can see it.
Yeah.
And so she's telling this story to these people. And in this interview that I'm watching, she's telling the story of her telling the story.
Yeah.
Where she gets to the end and she's like, and here it is. And she like opens it up. Women screamed, lost their minds. A couple women fainted and one person threw up.
Like when the doll was revealed?
Yeah, like to this crowd of people.
Interesting.
Interesting
there was apparently only women that was being affected as well.
Well, it says there was like women screamed, a couple of them fainted, and one person threw up. I don't know if the men were also screaming, but apparently there were some women that were screaming.
I wouldn't blame if they did.
I mean, I look at this thing and I also want to throw up.
Yeah.
I really don't like it.
I want to see it breakdance.
No, it's got little joints.
Imagine it hitting the gritty.
You're just like, put little puppet strings on it.
What's the ghost room song? Like,
good God.
For those of you who, we're not recording this, unfortunately.
I vetoed that shit.
We need to have something. We can discuss that at the end.
No. Absolutely not. I'm not putting my face out there for people. Banter.
I'll put my face out there.
That's a you problem. Do not include me.
Recording my habit. You'll be wearing like a mask. like, hey guys. Why are you wearing a gas mask?
I'm like, don't worry about it.
The ghosts can't get in.
Okay. And then, so this is another story with Keisha. So Keisha also had a time where she took Letta back to her office. Right. I guess she's got like her little like psychic headquarters. Yeah. That's cool. Private eye.
That's cool.
It's like a glass door, and you have to like knock on it, and you open it up. Yeah. There's like cigar smoke hanging around.
She's in like a trench coat.
Yeah.
What can I do you for?
And she like swings around in her big chair, throws her feet up.
Yeah. I will say, I almost swapped into the blacksmith voice I did there when I said what can I do you for.
Not the blacksmith.
I have multiple personality disorder now because I'm a dungeon master now. Ugh.
Good God.
Anyway,
Lord help us all. We're so close. We're so close to being done.
All right, that's fine. Let's get it.
We're doing so good. Okay, so she brought Letta back to her office, and they were going to film an interview there because Letta has actually been on TV on multiple occasions. And in interviews, which cannot be good, but also you're capitalizing off of the story, which to me says that it's not real. Yeah. But, sieste la vie.
Yeah.
And she swears by this, and there were other people in the room, and of course this is before the cameras were rolling. Classic. That she was sitting with Letta in her lap, and the doll kind of like wriggled like a little kid does to like make itself comfortable like in her lap. Yeah. Like nestled into her lap, and she's holding it, and she's like, oh my God, the doll moved. And the guy that's there filming like looks up at her and is like, yeah, right. And she swears by this and says that if somebody wanted to, they could ask the cameraman because he saw it too. Letta turned its head to look at the cameraman, and his neck creaked because it's like a wood joint. So it turned to look at him. And then one of the lights that they had set up for the interview, because they were filming it, so one of the bulbs exploded also in that moment.
Come on.
And then they were able to, I guess, muscle through it and then later do the interview, but of course everything had already passed. But this woman swears by this. And I will say, she's a very charismatic, funny woman. I like her. I feel like I'd want to go get tea with her. She seems like a very nice lady.
Would you be mad if she brought the doll?
I'd be pissed. Yeah.
Why is he here?
You're like, you said you wouldn't bring him! You said he wouldn't come here!
Keep him away!
And then, so, la-di-da-di-da, a bulb blows. Great. Awesome. Love that. 10 years later, in another interview with Carrie, and this interview is in 1993, and this is the one that I was watching. Mm-hmm. So he's sitting with the doll on his lap, and he's telling the story of how he got the doll, and he gets to the point in the story where he's talking about selling the doll.
Right.
And in that moment, another light bulb in the studio blows.
Of course it does.
And that's the story.
Is that all of it?
That's it.
I think it can all be explained by science.
I also think it can all be explained by science, but I really don't like his stupid little face.
It is.
He's gonna haunt me in my nightmares. I don't like it.
It is really unnerving.
The hair is really long. You see, they have it up in a ponytail, but sometimes they have it. Yeah.
I thought at some point you were like, the hair grew, and all that.
No. Oh. It's just really long human hair. All photos will be on the drive.
They don't have access to the drive.
Oh, all photos will be on the Instagram.
I mean, they are on the drive right now.
Oh my god.
I will say that's a pretty cool story.
I don't like it.
I don't really like it either. It's a very creepy doll.
It gave me the heebie-jeebies. I was by myself watching these videos, and I was like, I don't like it.
So, do we want to do questions like, do you think it's real or fake?
I think it's a real doll that is really old and really creepy. Doll. Do I think it's possessed by a child? No. Thank you.
I don't think so at all.
Mostly because I am unwilling to believe that is a possibility.
I think they made it up for clout.
Yeah. I mean, he was 23 when he found it.
Yeah, sure.
It's just like... The thing is that nobody has any idea, because there's no record of it, of how the hell it got from Romania 200 years ago, Australia, all the way down to Wagga Wagga, Australia.
Yeah. I don't know. It's still a cool story regardless, though.
Apparently also, I forgot to mention this, the house that they found it in was bulldozed very shortly after.
If they had waited like a month, that doll would have been like, nah!
Would have gotten crushed.
Good.
Oh, and so, another thing.
Uh-oh.
Just to give credit where credit is due, you can follow Letta on Facebook and Instagram.
Is it like Flat Stanley where they take pictures of it?
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they respond to fan mail. They do videos. They do interviews. They go on tour. Carrie takes this thing to cities and lets people see it and hold it. You have to pay them for it, $5 a pop. But that's not bad. However, I was gonna say, hustle, get your money. I see you.
Good for you.
But also at the same time, like, he's like a celebrity. Yeah. People pay to see him. And I was reading these other articles of these people that are like enthusiasts of the paranormal that like seek him out. Like they've traveled to see this doll.
Interesting.
And apparently Carrie's a really nice guy.
He is.
A lot of the people were saying that
I'd go just for him, honestly.
The doll doesn't feel aggressive or malevolent. It's just like mischievous.
Yeah, that's
But
the thing.
I can't get over the way that it looks.
It looks really weird.
I do not like it. It makes me deeply uncomfortable.
I do not like it. It's
I would hold...
So
see,
big.
I am not cool with a lot of old antique dolls, even like porcelain dolls. Yeah. Some of them are okay. A lot of them I don't like. Most of them I would say I am more than willing to hold or look at in an antique mall.
Sure.
I would not come within 30 feet of this thing.
It looks haunted.
I do not like it.
Nope.
And it gave me the spooks when I was trying to cover it. And I'm so glad that I've notched it away, so now I don't need to think about it anymore. But these photos are going to be on the drive, so I'm going to forget that they're there, and then I'm going to open them up and jump scare myself.
You're going to flash when you're like, I can't wait to talk about this cool cryptid moth that... Oh!
Like, oh my god, it's Letta! No, Letta, it's not you. Not again. You said you'd leave.
I always come back.
Oh, God. Oh, I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it so much.
I'm glad we get another episode now.
Yeah, me too. I was really excited to tell you, because if I had to see this, you had to see it too.
She begged me to record.
I was really excited to tell you.
I wasn't fully done with notes until like earlier today.
I mean, neither was I, but I went down that rabbit hole and I was like, if I have to suffer with this, so do you.
Yeah.
If I had covered something else that I didn't find so deeply unsettling, I probably would have been able to sit on it for another week before we record.
Yeah.
But this made me so uncomfortable that I felt the need to share it so that I'm not alone. Man, I hope those people screaming outside are okay.
Yeah, that was a loud scream.
That was a loud scream.
Well, now that we've wrapped this up, we want to talk about some criticism stuff that I received from the first episode.
Yeah, that you sound like ass.
I mean, okay, that's the mic, all right? That's
okay, well, get a better mic. My mic is clearly better than yours.
Listen, dude. The main thing I heard, I will say, the first episode, the second episode hasn't been edited
Hasn't been edited and uploaded yet. As of right now, only episode 1 is available, and it is on YouTube and Spotify. Soon, hopefully, to be on Apple.
We're working on it.
Our
team is working on it.
Our massive editing team behind the scenes.
Our homeboy Shay.
To you and Shay. Yeah, I am doing nothing.
No, that's okay. You kind of talk a lot in the show.
I do. I carry this show.
That's okay. I carry the whimsical creatures. You carry creepy dolls.
I do.
Yeah. The biggest thing that people talked about was wanting something on the screen for like the YouTube video. I can completely understand that because the first episode's literally just a black screen.
Yeah.
And I would like you to put like the logo on there. A lot of people were like, "Oh, you should record video," and I was like. I mean, I would.
Who the hell is telling you to do that? Your brother?
It was not actually my brother. He said he wanted something up on the screen, but he didn't necessarily say he wanted it.
Okay, we're not live streaming this.
I mean, I'd be perfectly fine putting myself online. I'm very handsome.
Speak for yourself.
I did. I just did.
I'm gonna hop on screen. My parents are gonna be like, "Is that another tattoo?" And I'm gonna go, "Ah, shit!
No! I swear!
Mom, no!
My job isn't a podcaster. I don't get paid." But, so we'll see about that. I joked with one of our friends that I should put, like, what is it? Oh gosh, why Subway Surfers in the background?
God.
Listen, imagine having to watch an
5-minute crafts.
Oh, no. No. We're just going to be Instagram Reels. That's what that becomes. We don't want that.
Funny Family Guy clips.
Family Guy funny moments. We'll see how the editing of the second one comes with. Maybe it'll just be a still image of my face that I take. That could be interesting. A lot of people, I say a lot of people, I've only gotten like 4 people's criticism.
I was going to say, I've had like
A lot. It's a lot.
My mom and my brother have listened. My dad hasn't even listened yet.
I don't know if my mother or
I think like 3 of my cousins have.
The big thing was like maybe doing like a slideshow thing, but then I don't have the time. We'd have to edit in the images and like we'll look at it.
We'll workshop it. That'll be your problem, not mine.
Me and Shay's problem.
Yeah, I don't do that. I'm just a girl.
Yeah, whatever. Well, I think that's all we have.
I think that's all we got. We need to fight about buying a website. Or not.
We don't need a website right
We
now.
Might eventually.
We have 1 episode!
Well, what happens when we get sponsors? We just send the website.
We will burn that bridge when we get to it.
Okay. So do you think it's too early to start planning a tour?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we need lawyers?
No.
Do we need agents?
We don't need
How do you rent a tour bus?
You could probably just go online, honestly.
Probably.
Well, I guess we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks for listening to our little rambles.
Our little rambles. I love talking.
Honestly, this entire thing might get cut out, but that's okay.
That's all right. Thank you for listening to Two Bozos in the Bone Zone.
No, we're already putting out the end. You don't even have to read it again.
I'm going to say it again because you cut me off last time. Thank you for listening to Two Bozos in the Bone Zone, which is the name of this podcast. I'm Daphne. That's Tucker.
That's me.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. God, you're the worst.
Thank you for listening to Two Bozos in the Bone Zone, hosted by Daphne Stacy and Tucker Lambing. Cover art by Noah Kachiver and editing by Shay McNeely. If you like the show, please leave us a rating, give us a review, and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or suggestions for further things you want us to cover, please email us at twobozosintthebozone@gmail.com. Also, please follow along on our Instagram page, TBITBZ, that's all caps, TBITBZ, for photos to go along with our stories and to keep up on any updates we put out. See you next time. Bye-bye.